I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
All right, lovely. So now, first question for all of you, we all come from various roles, various approaches. So the whole idea is, are you Agile coach or a Scrum Master? What is it? Or you could be a product owner, you could be a Scrum Master come project manager. Nowadays, there are a lot of hybrid varieties that are available in the market or the industry is recommending. So I wanted to know what is a mix of crowd, what is a mix of audience that we are carrying today, which is either the Agile coach side or the Scrum Master, or you say, I'm neither, but I was interested in the topic. What do you think is the opinion in the audience today?
We are both.
We are both. Okay, lovely. So now it would be a good idea to flip a coin and decide which side of the fence you would love to be, because I'm going to create an interesting amount of controversy out here. So having said that, what are the expectations from an Agile coach? What do we expect from an Agile coach? I'm going to talk about it. So some of the things that I thought based on my own experience, because I being myself an enterprise Agile coach, what is the world expecting out of me? And then I realized that the world is expecting I have Agile knowledge, I have assessment skills, I can assess an organization and find out where they are. I have a coaching mindset, I'm a good listener, I can do visual management, I can facilitate meetings, I can be a change catalyst, I can be dealing with conflicts, I could be doing training, workshops, all of that. And this is basically what I came up with, like a day-to-day job, a day-to-day affair of an Agile coach within the market, within the industry, within our organizations. I felt that an Agile coach would be doing at least one of these on a daily basis. You could be training someone, you could be listening, you could be coaching, you could be discussing with the leadership, you could be talking with conflicts, you could be facilitating a meeting of a particular group, whatever it could be. So do you believe this is a fair assessment of what we as Agile coaches end up doing? What do you think? Could be many more. You could go down and do a work breakdown structure of all of this, but this is what by and large I felt that we would do as Agile coaches. So having that, so these are the areas, broad areas that I also felt, apart from what skills for an Agile coach should be, I also felt these are the broad areas where an Agile coach is expected to make a difference, make an impact. Help people understand the manifesto, the values, principles, foster collaboration, build trust, share a product vision, supporting the product owner, promote supportive culture, encourage technical excellence, interact with senior leadership in the system. So these are the broad areas, along with the skills that this guy has. He or she brings that skills to the table and tries to make an impact in all of these areas that I have listed down. Could be many more kind of stuff, but these are the broad areas that on a day-to-day basis that you and I are expecting that there would be a change, there would be an impact that an Agile coach would make within the system, within the environment or an organization that he or she is dealing with. And when I saw this, I felt, yeah, sounds good, sounds fair. There's nothing different. I do the same things on a daily basis. So what's so different? And then when I started talking, what could be some of the expectations from the Scrum Master now? When I saw that we know what an Agile coach is supposed to do, what a skills Agile coaches is supposed to have, then I started realizing and I started doing brainstorming within myself that what does a Scrum Master bring to a table? And this is where I came up with some of the skills of the Scrum Master, basically facilitation skills, conflict resolution, strong knowledge of Agile and Scrum, some bit of technical skills, not mandatory though, but problem solving skills, strong communication skills, time management, open mindset. This is what I felt a good and excellent Scrum Master would typically carry. These are some of the skills sets that I would really like a Scrum Master to have. If I'm hiring a Scrum Master, then this is what I'm going to be looking out for. But then the interesting part was, I was trying to see where is the difference. If Agile coach is going to have these skills, Scrum Master is going to have these skills, it landed up me to do a mapping between Agile coach and a Scrum Master. And what we realize that everything that the Agile coach does is somewhere impacting or somewhere an expectation with the Scrum Master also. And wherever we have a Scrum Master element, there is an expectation that the Agile coach would be doing. So it's a bi-directional traceability for me. I'm sure you and I would agree that a Agile coach deals with conflict. So also a Scrum Master is to deal with a conflict. If an Agile coach has to be a good listener, so also a Scrum Master has to have a good listening skills, strong communication skills. If you are talking of visual management, daily work, that is again a place where the Scrum Master would have something to do. If you are talking of facilitation of meetings, something that the Scrum Master would typically do. So majority of the elements that I saw with the Agile coach, I figured out that everything and anything that I'm talking about the Agile coach is something that the Scrum Master is also expected to do. And that led me to the question that if I have a good Scrum Master, if I have an excellent Scrum Master, then why do I need an Agile coach? What is that Agile coach is going to bring to the table? So my again question to the audience is, do you believe that the kind of skill sets that we are expecting an Agile coach to have are similar kind of skill sets for a Scrum Master? What do you think? Opinions, guys? Anybody?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so
Yeah, go ahead.
at least in the beginning, when the team is being formed, that time you need a coach, to reiterate the agile principles. Otherwise, like people just keep, because we talk about project management and agile, they're completely like opposite of each other. There you do SDLC, and here you are like you have to. It's all a mindset, right? You have to be like open-minded, where you're not afraid to talk. You're not afraid to try new things. So that kind of mindset. So if you're the controlling type and then you continue in agile, then like, so that's the time you need to say like, no, chill a little bit. Let the other person talk, and so because everybody, it's joint responsibility.
And then we have Bala saying that one does it to influence a bigger audience. And that is a question that I'm going to raise in the next coming few slides. All of us, we have done coaching in some shape, size, format. A Scrum Master does coaching to his team. Agile Coach does coaching at an org level. But the question that I'm having right now is, whatever we have talked about from an, what I would say, the broad areas that an Agile Coach is supposed to do, are these also the expectation from a Scrum Master? That he will also deliver business value. He will also foster collaboration. They help me build the trust. They help me share the vision. They are supporting the product owner. They will also demonstrate improvement culture, encourage technical leadership. They will also interact with leaders. So the point I'm trying to highlight is, if these are the expectations from a Scrum Master also, which were the expectation from an Agile coach, then my basic fundamental element is, what is the Agile coach extra doing for me? Why do I need an Agile coach when a Scrum Master can do the job? And raising that particular point, the question is, do we think the roles are overlapping? Because if I go to the Bible of Agile, which I would say is a Scrum guide by all good, bad, ugly, Scrum guide does not have a recommendation of an Agile coach. Scrum Guide very clearly says the Scrum Master is a coach for the organizational level also. He has to go and influence at the org level. He has to influence at the team level. He has to influence other Scrum Masters. He has to talk to other stakeholders. So if my Scrum Master is going to do the job, then what is that my Agile coach is going to do? Where does this concept of Agile coach come in? Because as a Scrum Guide says, Scrum Master is guiding the coach, guiding the team, guiding the organization. So the whole bigger question for me was, where does the Agile coach fit in? Why do I need an Agile coach in the first place? If I had a good Scrum Master and I'm qualifying good, and qualifying good is again going back that he or she has those necessary skills, necessary talent that I'm looking out for. So if they have all the necessary talent, then where do I fit in this character called the Agile coach? Is it like an industry created element where people wanted business? So they created one new role in the game. Is that something like, when a very senior guy of your organization leaves because he finds that his job is not adding value, so the organization goes and creates one more designation, one more position, and tells, okay, now you are in this position, you are in a designation, and a new designation gets created, crafted, and then the guy feels happy, yeah, I've got something new. Is that something? Is Scrum Master or Agile Coach equal to Scrum Master equal to Agile Coach? And that's where I'm trying to answer. And this is a question that came to my mind. We have a lot of organizations across the globe. We have been consulting. I've been doing consulting. I've been operating as a Scrum Master, Agile coaches to lot many organizations. But I have never seen a global rollout of Agile. Now, what do I mean by global rollout of Agile? Global rollout of Agile is, let's say there is an organization, there are 25 projects or 25 products running. Whenever we have been encroached or we have been approached by organizations, oh guys, you know what? We want to transform, we want to do transition, we want to adopt Agile. They have never adopted Agile full scale. Full scale meaning on day one, all 25 projects, all 25 parts of the organization, all 25 products will do Agile on the same day. My experience, the answer is no, it doesn't happen. Organizations have adopted Agile in a smaller packets. Slowly, steadily, they increase the penetration. Once a particular team has been taken care of, then we move to the next team. If that is the case, then my Scrum Master should be able to do the job. A good Scrum Master should be able to do my job. We are not grooming Scrum Masters. We are not creating Scrum Masters. We are trying to create we are trying to create Agile coaches. And the best part of the story, in my experience, my humble experience of 33 years and with Agile being there for around about 15 years that I've been seeing and practicing and understanding Agile, I have never seen an organization as big as it could be, as small as it could be, that they are going whole hog, 100% across the board. Everyone is on Agile. It doesn't happen. A lot of organizations, when they are new, moving from waterfall, traditional approaches, the PMP, Prince 2 approaches into the Agile, they want to try it on a couple of teams. They want to try it on 1 or 2 products. And at that point in time, if you had a good Scrum Master, and again, I'm qualifying the word good. If you had a good Scrum Master, your job would have been done. But unfortunately, that doesn't happen. So is there something that only an Agile coach can do? I want you to think about it for 2 minutes based on everything that we have discussed so far. I want you to think, what are some of the activities or actions that only an Agile coach can perform or demonstrate? I want you to take 2 minutes, list down your thoughts, and finally identify that if these same activities can be done by a Scrum Master. Don't think like a Scrum Master. I want you to think like an Agile coach. If you are a Scrum Master in an organization and you have an Agile coach, think what that Agile coach is doing. And then think that as a Scrum Master, can I also do the job? Does it fall into my purview? Can I embrace that particular element? I need you guys to think on this. So let me take 2 minutes pause here and allow you guys to write down something where then we can move forward discussing this particular stuff. Any reactions? What are we looking at?
I would like to add here. So can I speak up?
Sure, sir. Please.
Yeah. So what I think that Scrum Master is more or less working at the horizontal level, like the team level. Okay. But the Agile coach is working at the vertical level, means at the organizational management structure, where he can wherever we find organizational impediments and all, he can help us there actually. There, Scrum Master, I don't think so. He is having much scope actually at organizational.
But again, if I go back to the Scrum Guide says that the Scrum Master is responsible, accountable for everything that you have said. See, that is where my dilemma comes in.
He should be, I mean, he is having some constraint, right? He cannot interact at higher level each and every time, right?
Why not? That's what my question is. Why not? See, again, you look, the way Agile was created or way Scrum was created, they never had a concept of Agile coaches. They were born out of the industry's need. Or I would say someone in the industry thought, oh, I've graduated and I've done 25 Scrum implementation. Now I carry enough knowledge. I would now graduate myself. I would promote myself to the next level. My basic fundamental question is, if Agile coaches were the need of the day, the need of the hour, then is Scrum Guide missing something in the game?
I will add here actually. Currently, I am working in the organization where we are planning to implement Agile. Okay, so we are working in infrastructure services actually. So where most of the projects are like database support, network support related things, and there actually we are planning to implement Agile. So we have designed our own framework for the BAU activities because we don't have any such framework in Agile except Kanban, because there we can only use Kanban for monitoring the activities, what are the tickets and all. But the complete agile, right, where Scrum Master and all, for those things we are not able to implement actually. So what I
Okay.
feel there, if Agile coach is there, he can at least build that framework actually. So how can we incorporate these behavior activities as part of agile processes? There, Scrum Master have less control actually. Scrum Master will be related to only that particular teams, right?
But that's exactly what I'm trying to highlight. That is a notion that has been created in the industry. That's where I'm coming at, and when I look myself as an agile coach, I find that I don't talk to everyone. 100% of the organization is not getting trained on agile. We can always argue, no, agile coach needs to know many more frameworks. They need to know Kanban. They need to know lean. They need to know extreme programming. They need to know some technical elements of the game. But then if I was a good Scrum Master, then I would have expected that from a Scrum Master also, because now if you see today in the market, in the industry, we have a concept of Scrumban. We are talking, a lot of organizations are talking where they're using Scrum and Kanban together. So that means as a Scrum Master, I should be at least knowing 2 frameworks at the bare minimum. So again, it's a thought process. It's basically, there are no answers with me. But again, the same question comes in. Are we, what I'm trying to say is there something that the Scrum Master can do where the Agile coaches can't do? And if you really
Yeah,
look,
they can.
they can?
Especially when there is transformation going on, because at least from my experience, when a whole organization wants to go agile, there's the time you need Scrum Masters to come and be there, train them. So it's basically needed at least in the first 1 year of going transformation, when you transform from SDLC to, so that then they really need it. And after that, as need basis, because you're not your employees are been there for 15-20 years, so it's not that, oh, they already Scrum Master. They may have just done the course. Different to just do the course and to actually get into that mindset and to transform. So the transform is the word. That's the term you need agile coaches for sure.
Okay. Sounds interesting. Now, when you're talking of getting Scrum
Ajay,
Masters there,
Sandeep this side.
yeah.
I want to add a few lines. As you are focusing on the Agile Coach versus Scrum Master, I do agree whatever the responsibility as a Scrum Master he is carrying, as we are especially talking about facilitator, coach, and blah things are there. Definitely, there are difference, as you said, right? Like even though Scrum Guide is also not suggest there is a difference, but definitely, as a Scrum Master, it's basically focus on the single team. If you are talking about the Scrum, in that case, definitely he is focusing on the single team. They are assisting the team daily basis, definitely. But as an Agile coach, he is focusing on all organizational teams and developing their overall systems and the team as well as leadership. That is one core difference I can say. Right.
I would agree or disagree both on the same coin. Why I'm saying that is, so if every team has a good Scrum Master, the Scrum Master collaborating and they are doing something like COP, community of practice, then the whole concept of Agile Coach still diminishes for me. See, if I talk in Hindi, a statement, it's like मैं अपने पेट पे लात मार रहा हूं. Me being an Agile coach myself, I'm still questioning, am I doing something different in the role that a good Scrum Master couldn't do? Now, you and I are surviving as Agile coaches is because of the dramatic failure, and I'm using a very strong word here, dramatic failure of the Scrum Masters. Scrum Master is not able to deliver, not able to talk to the leadership, not able to convince the leadership, not able to do things. And there we see, what I need someone with salt and pepper on the head, which means I need an experienced character. I need a guy who has done it, been there, seen that, done that. Get that kind of a guy who can really do the magic for us. And then what happens? That guy was a good Scrum Master, had done so many things, now gets qualified as an Agile coach. So that is where it is. But moving on, Scrum is Agile. But Agile is not Scrum. See what I'm trying to highlight? Now I'm talking a little bit against or for with the area. Most of the constructs of Agile have been borrowed from Scrum Guide. Even if you look at SAFe, Though we say SAFe is a scaling framework and everything, but everything from SAFe is like an element that has come from Scrum. They have expanded, they have taken it to the next level kind of a stuff. So concepts like Scrum Master, concepts like daily Scrum, which a lot of us, we call it daily stand-up. A few nomenclatures have got tweaked, but the fundamentals of the game have never changed. That is what the most interesting part of the story is. So it's like, if I may put it this way, it's like a difference between Colgate and Close-Up. Nothing is different in the fundamentals. They provide the same thing other than marketing, branding, and price point. I don't see a difference between a Colgate and a Close-Up, because if I use one, whether I use Colgate or I use Close-Up, and they do my job perfectly well, if I do it religiously and I follow the norms, then I will get the results. Why am I bringing this point? Because if I have Agile Scrum Masters and they are doing their job the way it is expected to be done, which is a rare commodity, I would say, I wouldn't have needed an Agile coach. But the problem is that some of the Scrum Masters that we hire or that are available in the industry, I find them really at times, wanting for the lack of knowledge or how to handle that particular situation and those kind of things. I really find it difficult. And that's where when you have Agile coaches who are, what I would say, a lot more qualified, if I may put it that way, they make good, interesting business. Now I'm coming to one more thing. Challenges of any type of coaching, whether it's Agile coaching or Scrum Master coaching, I would say one of the biggest challenges is the quality of relationship between the coach and the coachee. Same thing, Agile coach and whoever he or she is coaching, or the Scrum Master and they are coaching the leadership or they are coaching the team, the perceived expertise of a coach. Now, this is where the difference between the Scrum Master and an Agile coach comes in. A Scrum Master may have not seen the world. The Scrum Master would have not been there, done that, seen that kind of a stuff. So his perceived expertise become a little bit of a challenge in the eyes and the minds of the industry. But when I see an Agile coach, oh, wow, this guy has so much experience. He knows this, he knows this, he knows this. He would be a good guy. So the perceived expertise of a coach could also lay an interesting amount of challenge as far as the Scrum Masters are concerned. They don't seem to be expert. They're good at Scrum only because the word Scrum Master. The motivation to change on the part of the coachee. How much am I able to motivate that guy and how much is the opposite person motivated? Coaches are not, at times coaches are not respected. Coaches are not able to guide or provide a direction or a solution or explore a new thought. So these are some of the common challenges that we have seen in any kind of a coaching, any kind of a coaching. So this is something that you and I need to really look at, and could be the answers are in between these 5 bullet points, that where the existence of an Agile coach really makes a difference or really makes a thought-provoking element for us to see kind of a stuff. Having said that, are these challenges only confined to the coaches? Well, I would say again, I'm bringing the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master, when they're coaching their teams, they would also face similar challenges.
Yes, I will them, right? The purpose of this call is to get closure on that issue. There was one.
So what is that extra that the Agile coach will bring to the table? Again, I'm still searching for those answers. And here is some of the reasons, that I believe that we could have an Agile coach. An Agile coach helps an organization and individuals to adopt practices while embedding Agile values and mindsets. You're talking at a global level. You are talking when you have multiple teams going across, let's say even 3 teams are doing Agile. How do you bring consistency of approach? Now, that consistency of approach is where an Agile coach could make more difference. The goal of the Agile coach is to foster more effective, transparency-based, cohesive teams. Those kind of things. Agile coaches using team management, coaching, mentoring skills, those kind of things, helping an organization move from traditional waterfall to the coaching. Coaches are also expected to give coaching to the Scrum Masters, providing them guidance how to move forward, creating a safe space for experimentation, ensuring that the team members are learning as they go. Now, these are the reasons that I believe a good coach would learn to exist. But again, I'm trying to play the devil's advocate. Aren't these elements that the Scrum Master should be doing? Everything that I've said here is something that the Scrum Master should anyway be doing at his local level. If yes, then again the question is there a difference? Is there a need for having an agile coach? What is that extra value that we are getting out of an agile coach that a scrum master should have delivered? Is it that the scrum master has failed to deliver, so we are going with an agile coach? Is that the question? Is that begging us that, okay, you know what? I have got scrum masters. They are capable only of managing a team. They cannot be looking forward to an organization. They are too occupied. So I need someone else. And that someone else has to come at the top. Could be something like a chief of scrum master that becomes an agile coach. And that is that way that an extra value is getting delivered. Again, a question for all of us to, have a thought-provoking element in the game. Now, again, is that the agile coach can cater to multiple teams? Then each team also has a scrum master. So if each team has a scrum master and scrum master is doing a job, then what is the agile coach extra doing for that team? Is that the agile coach facilitates discussion between the two teams? Then I would argue that when you have scrum of scrums, two scrum masters can talk together and resolve that issue. So why again an agile coach is required? In Scrum Guide, Scrum Master is supporting the larger vision of the organization, what we have seen. Are we comparing apples to oranges or different types of apples? See, what I'm trying to say is, you and I have always heard the statement, don't compare apples and oranges. I have a very, very different statement, and I'm saying don't compare apples to apples also, because if I look from an Indian point of view, an Himachal Pradesh apple is very different from a Kashmiri apple. Their taste is different, size is different, quality is different, price is different. So comparing apples to apples also does not make business sense. And this is something that we need to start understanding and realizing, like, as we say within the Agile, don't compare velocity of two teams. Well, at least I can compare velocity of my own team, and that's fair. So here, comparing an apple and oranges is not even the game. My game is here about more comparing an apple to an apple, unless the apple is of the same breed, which we find in the industry, the apples are not of the same breed. So will Agile or Scrum survive without a Scrum Master? The question and the answer is very, very simple. Not having a Scrum Master with your development team would indicate that you're not doing Agile or Scrum, because one role is missing. So in short, the role of a Scrum Master becomes mandatory. But whereas the role of an Agile coach is not mandatory, it's more of a guide, it's more of a recommendation, it's more of an extra help that is coming in, that is helping you and me to move forward kind of a stuff. Will Agile or Scrum survive without an Agile coach? And as per me, the big answer is yes. I know a lot of organizations, they don't have Agile coaches. They have Scrum Masters. I'm sure that I'm going to get a lot of brickbats for this, but nevertheless, I'm ready to, put my neck on the block kind of a stuff. The answer is Scrum, Agile, Kanban, all of these will survive without an Agile coach. So what is that difference that, again, I'm going back to the same, like a pendulum, I'm moving across. So what is the value that an Agile coach will bring to the table? Finally, an Agile coach has a broader scope of responsibility. They work with department, teams, organizations to support Agile transformation. They help organizations. No, I'm talking at an org level. Now I'm not talking at a team level. They help the organizations adopt principles, facilitate cultural change, drive continuous improvement. Now, when we talk of develop and facilitate a cultural change, we are not talking at a team level. We are now talking at an org level. We are talking at different departments. We are talking at maybe my admin also needs to be Agile, and my finance needs to be Agile, and my travel department needs to be Agile, my HR needs to be Agile, my marketing needs to be Agile. That is where the thinking has to come in. Agile coaches, they would engage the leadership, they would engage multiple teams, stakeholders, and they would typically establish an Agile mindset across organizations. See, establishing within the team, I would say let the Scrum Master do it. So Agile coaches possesses a deep understanding of principles, frameworks beyond Scrum. I would expect my Scrum Master to know Scrum at least very well. But Agile Coach, I expect him to know multiple things. They have expertise in change management, facilitation, coaching, organizational development, so on and so forth. The primary focus of an Agile Coach is to transform an organization's mindset and culture. Because the rest of the things, I can then leave it to my Scrum Master to adopt it. Having said that, recommendation, if an organization cannot afford an Agile Coach, get the best Scrum Masters. Don't hire a Scrum Master because he or she has a PSM or a CSM kind of a stuff. They have a certificate, but do they have the knowledge? Do they have the skills? Do they have the talent? Can they manage? Can they manage a conflict? Can they manage a leadership? Can they manage a harsh leadership who says, I want it to be done that way, and that could be anti-pattern? Can an Agile coach really stand up there? Second important point, if you cannot afford an agile coach and you have great Scrum Masters, create a community of practice of these Scrum Masters, and each of them should be helping each other and allowing the organization to automatically grow the adoption of Agile, of Scrum, of various frameworks that you and I would be interested in. So guys, that's exactly what I wanted to talk about today. So questions that we can have. Anybody?
Yeah, hi Ajay. Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead, sir, please.
Yeah, by the way, it's a very wonderful, energetic, and passionate webinar. Thanks a lot, Ajay, for sharing your thoughts. And my question is like, again, it's a frequently asked question. So, what are your recommendations to scale up a Scrum Master himself into a Agile coach role? What are your recommendations for that?
See, I would recommend, when a Scrum Master aspires to become an Agile coach, which I believe every Scrum Master would aspire to become it's like, when you're playing Ranji Trophy, you're playing IPL, you aspire to play for India. You want to migrate, you want to get promoted, you want to get to the next level. But to do that, you and I need to have multiple domain expertise, multiple tool expertise. Like, for example, you may be using Agile or, being a Scrum Master where Jira has been used. But tomorrow you're going to do an Agile coaching where Azure DevOps is going to be used, digital.ai is going to be used. At least are we aware what these tools are going to do? What matrices are there? What Kanban does, how Kanban and Scrum can get connected, how XP and Scrum can get connected, how Safe and Scrum gets connected, management 3.2. The whole concept that I'm trying to highlight here is the Agile coaches, as what we say in Hindi, coach should have had, as I say in Hindi, 760 ghat ka pani piya hai. He has gone multiple places, multiple experiences, multiple failure points. So unless multiple failure points are there, you and I as good people, we will not understand how to react given a situation. And what we say, we want to hire experienced people. What do I mean by experienced people? I'm always hiring people who have done mistakes in their life, because when I hire them, they already know that the mistakes have been done. I don't need to do that mistake. And that's what you and I call experience. So for me, a good Scrum Master getting graduated into Agile coaching, I would say, communication skills, oratory skills, vocabulary, ability to handle tough leadership. And I'll tell you today, as you see what the market is behaving today, it's tough. People are talking EBITDA, people are talking revenues. Revenues are coming down. The profitability is coming down. And at that point in time, things are going bad. I don't know if you read a few, I would say around about 8 to 9 months ago, there is one of this, I think it was USB or UBS Bank, I don't remember. They fired all the Agile coaches. They said, yeah, job is done. We know Agile, you don't need Agile coaches. They never fired a Scrum Master for
Capital One.
I don't know which was, there was a bank or an organization in the financial sector that did that. And help me understand, which was the bank? Capital or what was that you see?
It was Capital One US.
Okay, Capital One US. Okay, right. So the entire concept was they fired all Agile coaches, the Agile gurus, but they never removed a Scrum Master. That news of Scrum Master at least didn't come, but the Agile coaches were there prominently on the headlines of various newspapers that I could see. So I hope I have answered your question that a good Scrum Master needs to know a lot more things. Experience. It's all about experience. It's all about knowing different situations and your reactions in different situations. And the ability that if you're facing a new situation, then, within seconds, you and I are able to deliver a solution or at least come out with some kind of a recommendation and say, guess what? Let's elaborate more on that. That is what I believe. When a Scrum Master is able to do these kind of things, he would start earning his badges for becoming a good Agile coach. That's what I would believe. So.
Thanks a lot, Ajay, for your reply.
Any other questions that we have? And Vijay, I'll be sharing this presentation with you guys, and then you can forward it to everyone who is there on the call or anyone who has registered. I think it's important because we always believe that knowledge is free and knowledge should be shared. So that is where it is. It's not a copyright issue. It is all about an issue that, many people should start thinking about it. And I'm not saying I'm trying to remove the job of an agile coach or create more scrum masters. I'm only trying to say, are we thinking enough? Questions, guys?
Ajay, I have a question. So in the era of artificial intelligence that we have seen in the last 6 months, right? And maybe AI might be there for the last couple of years, but Google Bard and OpenAI and many have come. So do you think Agile coach position will be in existence for so long time?
It won't disappear. Let me be very honest, when Agile is now existing for more than round about, it's closing to 3 decades, though formal Scrum came out in 2001, but Agile as a concept is existing from nearly coming down to 3 decades. Has PMP died? The answer is no. PMP is still there, surviving. So what I'm saying is, this artificial intelligence, this AI, BART, Chat GPT, all of that will come in. But nothing is going to replace a human mindset, a human touch. The machines will not be able to do that job. When a conflict comes, your AI is not being able to solve a conflict. When 2 guys are not talking to each other, when the team chemistry is not happening, you need a personal touch there. You need someone where, I want my Scrum Master or my Agile coach to put the hand around my shoulders, walk with me and have a cup of tea or a coffee, and over that I can do a chat, which I think your AI tools, and I'm saying AI tools are great. I love to use them so that I can think differently, because I start thinking after they have done their thinking. So what happens? I'm already thinking from the first floor. I don't have to think from the ground floor, because the ground floor, the ground job, I want my AI tools to do. And that is what I believe should happen or will happen as we go forward in this game. Jobs are not going to go away. It's something like this. I remember 1984. I very distinctly remember when Rajiv Gandhi invited his friend Sam Petroda, from America, to come and lead the entire revolution of computers and all. I very, very clearly remember Atal Bihari Vajpayee, the most respected leader of India. He came in a bullock cart to the parliament to indicate that, guys, this is India, either computer nahi chalega. And today what's happening? Every Tom, Dick and every organization is today using computer. The IT is the backbone of the system. You see, even, the smallest vendor is saying, can you pay me through UPI? Can you pay me through Google Pay? Can you pay me through Paytm? That is because IT is there, computers are there, technology is there. So if I take the same analogy in the same vein, I believe we may have initial repercussions, but the long-term impact is not going to be there. But what will happen is that as agile coaches, as developers, as Scrum Masters, as QA guys, we will require to evolve ourselves and try to see that how we can utilize the data, the information that is coming from AI, how can we better utilize it to do our jobs. We are not going to get replaced, and I'm very, very sure, at least in my lifetime, to ye nahi hone wala.
Thank you.
It's like, in my lifetime, India will not get Pakistan like that. In my lifetime, AI, people are not going to go away. The human touch. Your AI will not be able to do your appraisals. You will require people. Your AI will not be able to do prioritization because they don't know what's happening in the market, that 15 jobs are lost somewhere. The AI is not going to decide. Those things are not possible. They will do a lot of what I would say, the initial hiccups, the initial trauma is going to be there, but long-term impact remains to be seen. Like, for example, 3 days ago, I was doing a training in Noida with some organization, and we were having an argument over electronic vehicles. And the guy was saying, Ajay, electronic vehicles will not survive because of their environmental impact. No. I said, I don't have enough data to even argue for that matter. Right. Any further questions, guys?
Hi. Thanks for the wonderful session and the conversations what we had just now. I just wanted to know, now I have seen that they are clubbing DevOps along with Scrum. So how far like mixing Scrum and DevOps would be helpful? Can you please guide on that?
You're talking of DevOps, right?
Yes, thank you.
If I may put it in a very simplistic fashion, let's forget DevOps for a minute. I'm going to talk about Agile. And we are talking agile, 2 weeks of sprint, 2 weeks of iteration and all that. And at the end of the 2 weeks, we should have a potentially shippable product increment. Now imagine, visualize, you are on the 10th sprint. You are on the 10th iteration. You have got a lot of code already been developed, already been deployed. Come the 11th iteration. When I do my 11th iteration, I would have to do some basic minimum regression testing, if not anything. Of the earlier 10 things that I have developed, because the 11th sprint may be touching some of those 10 things, and I would have to do a basic hygiene regression test. Now, if for 10 sprints I have done a lot of development, it would be physical, it would not be manually possible at the end of 2 weeks to complete a complete regression test suite and ensure that my product is fit and fine and I can be doing a release in and you're automating through a script. I think continuous integration automatically comes in. Continuous integration is directly jumping into the game. And finally, you may talk about deployment. Now, here in the deployment, there are two things. You have something called continuous deployment, continuous delivery. The CD, when we say CI/CD, continuous delivery, continuous deployment. Continuous deployment means everything is hunky-dory. I pass everything, it directly goes and hits the production. But in organizations, in industries where you are a banking sector industry, you are a defense industry, you are a medical industry, you cannot be using a continuous deployment because there are a lot of financial rules, regulations, regulatory authorities, sign-offs, and those things are required. And that is where a continuous delivery will make sense, which means I've done everything. I'm standing at the doorsteps. I have to press a button. Someone will physically open the door and allow me to come in. Now, that is where I believe, when I said these two, that is where I believe DevOps now starts making a sense. According to me, not having DevOps, which means not having automation, testing, automation, compilation, and all that, and you're not doing the entire hierarchy together, the entire orchestration of your pipeline is not working, then I believe this 2 weeks of release cycle with 100% testing done, regression done, bugs have been identified, the impact analysis has been done, I think is not feasible. So that is where DevOps has to become a complementary, supplementary practice of Agile. It has to exist. Can DevOps exist without Agile? The answer is no. Can Agile exist without DevOps? The answer is yes, but the effectiveness will be very poor. I don't know how many of you in your organizations, when you do a 2 weeks of sprint, how many of you at the end of 2 weeks are in full confidence and saying, guess what? We are making a production release. If that answer is no, then I believe DevOps would be required. DevOps is a supplementary and complementary practice that helps Scrum and Agile to become a lot more effective and a lot more, they're creating ability to deliver. The ability to deliver is not to develop a solution. Your ability to deliver is solution creation, testing, working, and ability to deploy in production at a click of a button. I hope that answers. Any further questions, please?
Thank you, Ajay.
But I also have to be very honest. The best of the Agile teams, the best of the Scrum teams that I see in my own organization, I have to be honest, we are still doing manual testing. And I honestly, be very honest with you guys, I still pull my hair out. I have arguments. But then they're saying, no, customer is not ready to pay. Customer is not ready to invest. We don't have tools. Customer doesn't want to use this, that. There are too many excuses. There is not a single reason that we should use it, but there are hundreds of excuses why not to do it. End of story. I don't know if Vijay would like to put some views on that. I'm not able to hear you, Vijay. Don't know. All right, guys. Any further questions that you guys have for me that I could be answering?
I just wanted to ask you, is there any way that we can implement Agile framework for BAU activities and EPS how can we leverage that?
I need to know. The short answer would be yes. But then you have to think, are you going to be implementing Scrum? You're going to be implementing Kanban. Those kind of things is very important. So the short answer is yes, you can implement Agile. But we need more data to understand and appreciate what is going on, what are the thought processes, what is the delivery mechanism, what kind of work that has been done, what are the kind of handoffs that happen within the work, and then decide how Agile or what kind of Agile can be implemented or adopted in that kind of an organization or that kind of a work culture. But if you ask me, I would say majority, 99% Agile is applicable everywhere because it's a mindset, it's a thought. See, again, I'll tell you, software development is software development, nothing has changed. Testing is still testing, defects is still defects, release is still release. What are we doing through Agile? We are now trying to tell people that by doing Agile, we are just changing the thought process, but development is still the same development. Nothing has changed over there.
So do you mean to say that we need to explore the options like Scrum or Kanban, and based on that, we need to build our own framework?
See, again, though Kanban is a great idea, and I'll also tell you the reason I like Kanban is that some of the metrics that Kanban offers is very beautiful. Honestly, very beautiful when they talk of cycle time, aging analysis, throughput. Can this be done in Scrum? Well, the answer is yes, it can be done in Scrum because at the end of the day, if you're running a 2-week cycle, at the end of 2 weeks, at least everything should have been done. But when you're talking of throughput and cycle time and those kind of things, it's quite interesting to see how Kanban really works. And that is where I love Kanban.
I'm talking about
one second, just a second. And one more reason that I love Kanban is Kanban doesn't force me to bring new roles in the game. Whereas when I talk about Scrum, then we are talking of a Scrum Master, a product owner, and those characters. Whereas Kanban, in a pure Kanban fashion, it doesn't force you to bring any new role in the game. It says we start from what you have, where you are, and then we can start from there. And that is why sometimes, very honestly, I get biased with Kanban.
Yeah, that's right. But my question is like, see, we are working in 24/7 support. So we are continuously getting some of the high priority incident and all. So how can we leverage this Scrum for this P1, P2 incident? Because we are having a lot of flow of tickets, like 50, 70, 80, 100 sometime. So, and the person, the team members are getting changed, right? Ship to ship.
Right.
So for us, it is getting difficult to implement this Scrum for the BAU activities actually. So we are exploring the option. So we have started building our own framework, like where we can manage the one dashboard. From there, my team will be picking all the tickets, and I will be just guiding them. I will be monitoring the dashboard, and team is just self-organized. They will be picking the tickets from the dashboard and they will be resolving this. That's it. But
hey, let me be very honest. Whatever works for you, if your hybrid variety is working and it's giving you results, and you're able to pick a little bit of things from Kanban, little bit of things from Scrum and all that, I think that should be good enough. Because do remember, Kanban and Scrum are not like ISOs or CMMIs where someone will come and put a rubber stamp on you. It is there for your own self. It is there for your own benefit. So if it works for you, it works for you. Simple as that. And that is what I like about Agile. Agile gives me a lot of flexibility to do more changes.
There is no any standard, right? That we should follow like this, or we should be following all those practices. There is no any standard, right? As such.
Yeah, see, that's a difference. Agile is more like frameworks. They are not standards. See, the moment you talk about a word called standard, then there are assessment methodologies and someone external will come and assess you and all. So Agile is more like a framework. It's more like recommendation-based approaches. If you look in Scrum also, there are very few rules, but a lot of recommendations. Like, for example, you and I talk about user stories as a concept. But if you actually look in Scrum Guide, there's not a single word called user story. You and I are so used to having story points and velocity and all those lovely words. You look at the Scrum Guide, it only says you guys need to do estimations. Now, whether you do effort-based estimation, size-based estimation, planning poker, velocity, whatever, they hardly care. All that they are saying is be consistent in what you're doing.
Okay. Thank you.
It works for you, it works for you. Simple as that, yeah. No, Mercedes may be a very good car. But the point is, I can't afford it. And if I can afford it, I don't have a place to keep it. Now, even though I may have money, I can afford a Mercedes, but I don't have a garage to keep Mercedes. So buying a Mercedes, I can't be parking my Mercedes right out on the road at night where someone can come and play mischief. So the point is, it's all about applicability. It's all about what I would say, creating value in the system is what I would put it. Right, we have 1 minute more from 8 o'clock, but I'm more than happy to stay back if we have further questions. Always happy.
Ajay, Vijay said like he has got some issues with his
I know,
audio.
I saw that on the chat that he has some audio issues.
And what do you suggest for a future Agile coach?
That's a good question. Honestly, Agile coach will be successful when they are able to change the mindset of the leadership. Forget the team. For the team, I have a Scrum Master, get a great Scrum Master who can go and manage the team. My job is done. But my challenge has always been the leadership of the organization. The customer leadership, the behavior patterns, or, talk about the product ownership, the product road mapping, when today, this word MVP, minimum viable product, has become such a, I would say, a common character word across the board. Everyone talks, oh, we need to have an MVP. And when I go and see their MVP, it's actually the full scope. So where is the MVP? So the concept is that if an Agile coach is there, I want that character Agile coach to really come and play a great role with the management, with the leadership, with the stakeholders. Forget the team. For the team, I should have my Scrum Master. But rest of the characters that actually create trouble spots, I think that's the role of an Agile coach. Easier said than done. Yeah, Bala, question? All right. Any other questions, guys? Anything else that I can help?
Yeah, I would just like to thank for your time and a lot of learnings we had. Thanks a lot, Ajay.
Pleasure. And guys, I'll be sharing this presentation with Vijay, that is with AgileWaters, and hopefully they should be in a position to send it across to all of you. Thank you.
Ajay, one question. This is
Go
Maruti. So I keep hearing from my manager, I'm a Scrum Master right now, that, we should keep moving from teams to teams for every 9 to 10 months as a Scrum Master and then kind of bring in the changes. So what is your thought on that? That can a Scrum Master?
I would actually support that, because see, if you're a good in 9 to 10 months, and assuming that you're doing a 2 weeks of Agile, you would have at least done, if not anything, around about 18 to 20 plus sprints. And if 20 sprints, you're not able to implement your thoughts within a particular team, you're not able to bring a change, then I'm not sure even 5 years you and I can bring a change. Second important thing, I'll say if you're a good Scrum Master, then within the first 5 sprints, you would have given your heart and soul to the organization and to that particular team of trying to tell them how to work, what to do, how to do, and all that. Now, if that guy is done, I don't know, I would like to bring a very Hindi Bollywood movie here. Have you watched a movie called Bawarchi of Rajesh Khanna, Jaya Bhaduri?
No.
No, then I would recommend you to watch it. Recommend you to watch it because the message is in the last scene. That guy called Bawarchi. Yeah. So
we watched it, old movie in 70s, Rajesh Khanna, long dead.
Yeah, long back. And the whole concept of the Bawarchi movie was this guy comes and he plays an instrumental role. I would say he becomes a Scrum Master. He changes the behavior pattern, the atmosphere of one house, and then he disappears overnight because he says, now this job has been done. I need to go and find a new house where same chaos is there and I need to fix that chaos. So if I take the same analogy into my Scrum game, if you as a good Scrum Master have done your job, I think you need to go down to a different team. Because if you go down to a different team, you would see different people, different mindsets, different approaches, same organization, but maybe different set of problems. And in your position, you should get someone else as a Scrum Master, because when a new Scrum Master replaces you, they see it with a different pair of eyes. There could be differences coming in. There could be new thought processes coming in. Because if you had all the thought processes, you would have already given in those 9 months. There could be nothing different. It's, and I really like the idea, if your management is supporting, that at least, okay, at the end of the year, you move, you become a Scrum Master for a different team, I'll get a new Scrum Master replacing you. I think that's an excellent approach in an organization.
Mm. Okay,
It
but
will also give you avenues to grow.
But the teams are not reluctant to leave the Scrum Master.
It's like, I don't want to leave my parents. That's the way it is. And so that's one of the, see, again, you brought a very interesting point. Why is that happening? Because we guys are getting emotionally attached to the product, emotionally attached to the team. The moment you get emotionally attached, what challenge you are facing right now, Maruti, is the same challenge you and I will face every time.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Right. Do we have anything in the chat window? Right.
Well, I think, Ajay, I think you brought out a very good point, but you said we need to bring in good Scrum Masters. But the challenge that the industry is facing is that we do not have good Scrum Masters. We have two-day trained Scrum Masters, unfortunately, and that's where the gap lies. And now the Agile coaches start thinking of how to bring these people up to speed, ramp up, so on and so forth.
Murli, again, I'll take an analogy. A lot of times in the UAT, you and I find bugs, and then you start thinking, shouldn't the bug be found in unit testing? Why did I find it in UAT? How did it cross through entire journey and it landed up in UAT? And the good part is we thank, acha, chalo, we caught it. That's what is the level of satisfaction. But the interesting point is that we should have caught that in unit testing, but we caught it in UAT. So that's the same concept. We are hiring for skills. What I mean by that is, in the interview, you and I will ask all questions. Tell me how daily stand-up happens, how retrospective happens, how this will happen, how estimation are done. Well, according to me, these all can be trained. I will hire Vijay Wade and ask him, Vijay, chalo baba, training kar do. That's the end of story. But can I train people on attitude? Can I train people on aptitude? Can I train people on culture, mindset? I think, can I train people on people management? I think these are inbuilt skills that people come with. And these are the skills because of which I think we should hire Scrum Masters. I should hire good people. I can make them good Scrum Masters. I can train them. I can educate them. I can handle them. I can do pairing with them. I can do co-training with them. I can do everything with them, but I cannot teach them attitude and aptitude.
Absolutely.
I cannot teach them mindsets. And unfortunately, in the market, these are the 3-4 things which are missing. All Scrum Masters that I meet, they know a Scrum guide. They have got CSM, PSM1, PSM2, everything. But when you tell them, given a situation, how do you handle it? You don't get the right answers. We are not hiring. Our hiring concepts have gone wrong, is what I believe. We are not hiring personalities. We are hiring skills. I would love to hire personalities and then train that personality for the required skill that I have. I want to.
Okay. Ajay, can I ask another question, please?
Yes, please.
Yeah. We were always struggling with one metric, that is the completion of the epic within the time, that is the epic cycle time. So we always wanted to measure that, whether we as a Scrum Master with our support, are the teams able to deliver faster? But the epic, kind of comparison of the epics.
You're talking of epic, or you're talking of user stories?
Epic.
But epic would be quite large. Epic would break down into multiple features. Features will break down into multiple stories.